Hey, I'm Boris from Census. I'm here to talk to you about an amazing new pattern for building great customer experiences. And we call this the Composable CDP. You're going to hear from Matt later on, who works at Canva, an amazing company, who's been working with this kind of approach with Snowflake and our product Census for the last 4 years. And they've had amazing success with it. And I'm looking forward to talking to him about how they've tackled all these problems. Before I dive in, figured I'd give everybody a basic agenda here. Over the next 20 minutes, I'm going to outline what this composable CDP pattern really is. I hope to break that down in a way that is useful, approachable, and something that you can adapt in your own work. I'm going to talk to Matt. We're going to walk through how Canva has done all these things to drive their growth and personalize their experience all across their massive, massive user base. So I should introduce myself a little bit before I talk about the product. I'm one of the co-founders and the CEO here at Census. And I started Census in 2018 with a very simple mission. We wanted to make the best, most trusted data in a company accessible to anyone, especially to drive action and automation. And we designed our platform from day one on Snowflake. It really is the best place to store and transform everything you know about your business, to build insights and analyses on top of the infinite amounts of data we now generate at a company. And the technology that we built is nowadays described as reverse ETL. Reverse ETL allows you to take that information and actually put it into action directly in tools. And over the years, we've scaled a lot as a company. So today, our platform syncs billions of customer records every day. We work with companies operating at all sorts of scales, from startups to companies that legitimately deal with 1 billion users every day in their database. And they use our service to deliver a truly great customer experience. And they do that by powering the entire go-to-market machinery on top of their first-party data. And the reason that companies succeed with Census is it really is the best way to take all the data, all the insights in Snowflake and put it into action. So as a data team, you get these connectors that seamlessly integrate with 200 plus tools. So you never have to think about how to map your data model into a specific business app. Our reverse ETL incrementally syncs records across all the apps and systems in your company. That way, instead of providing data through a dashboard, you actually deliver directly into something like Braze or Salesforce, where your teammates can use them in a campaign. Or you can create audiences as a marketer. And you can use our Audience Hub, which helps you build segments without knowing SQL. All of this running directly on Snowflake, and all these segments, all these audiences can be reused in any ad platform, any nurture flow, or in your CS team or your sales team. And I don't know any company that does more with their Snowflake install than Canva. It's a fun ad right here in San Francisco for the magic that they build together, Snowflake and Canva. And if you're not familiar with Canva, they make perhaps the most popular design software in the world. And they've reached a level of personalization that we should all aspire to. They got there by adopting this composable CDP pattern, this ability to leverage Snowflake in their entire marketing operations. So I sat down virtually with Matt Castino to learn more about their setup. So let's hear from Matt now. Hey, Matt, thanks for doing this.
No worries, Boris. Happy to be here.
So for people who don't really know much, right? What's the high level, let's call it data and marketing stack at Canva?
Yeah, sure. So at a company like Canva, particularly in marketing, we have data coming from a lot of different places. So we're getting marketing data from our advertising platforms, we're generating event data through like users' interactions with the platforms, and we're also replicating data from our backend services. And that all coalesces into Snowflake, which is our data warehouse platform. We love Snowflake at Canva. In terms of third-party data, that all comes in through Fivetran. Find Fivetran a super efficient, effective, quick tool to get data in from basically anywhere, whether it be through APIs for our marketing platforms like Facebook and Google, or whether it's something simple like, oh, my stakeholder has some data in a CSV or in a Google Sheet, and I want to put that into a dashboard. And then all of that stuff, as I said, it gets put into Snowflake. And because Snowflake is one of those platforms that can handle data in so many different formats, unlike some other warehouse tools, it just means that we can put everything into one place, which is how we can unlock the most from our data in terms of what builds our warehouse and manages dependencies and automates all that sort of stuff. We use DBT, or data build tool. That's really good for making sure that our warehouse gets built in the right order. So table which depends on X doesn't get built before table X, so on and so forth. And then Census comes in as well for us in terms of, obviously we've got data coming in from lots of places, often we want to send it back out. So Census is super effective for that. It allows us to send data to advertising platforms. So a common one would be, we want to send lookalike audiences or retargeting audiences. So in case it might be users that we think might benefit from Pro, we can target them based on, certain features or characteristics that we have from our data warehouse. And we send those audiences to our advertising platforms, and then they can go out and retarget those users. Or we can say, these are our high quality users or our best quality users. Go out and find people that are more like these people. So we use Census for that. We also use Census to send customer data to our CRM platforms so that we can send things like personalized emails or custom audiences in-house and then send them to our CRM platform so we can target specific people. So a common use case for that in Lifecycle would be, we can send an email when a customer publishes their 100th design, or we can send them an email on their Canvaversary and tell them, hey, this was your most popular font, or this was your most common color, or this, those sorts of things. Just to really give people a sense of what value they've gotten out of the product in the last year.
By the way, Matt, I'm always curious with those kinds of personalization campaigns, what the chicken and egg is. Was that something that the marketing team at Canva was trying to do? And then you have this platform that you can leverage? Or was it kind of the other way around where the data platform team was offering up this great knowledge and that caused the marketing to create those campaigns?
Yeah, great question. The answer is both. So the way that we work at Canva is that our data teams are embedded or integrated into different parts of the business so that we can be very collaborative and that we do develop that subject matter expertise and can speak the same common language as our stakeholders. They're always striving for personalization and engagement and creating these really nice moments for our customers whenever we can. But then also from the data side, we've got a lot more context on what kinds of things that we can do, in terms of, we know all the machine learning models that are running in platform, or we know the data sources that we have available, and we know what we could do. We can tell them, hey, this great machine learning model for propensity to trial was generated in-house. Maybe we can use that as a signal for who we should target when we send upsell dialogues. Or we've got a model which tells us about a user's likelihood to want to print something. Maybe we can use that to decide who to target.
So I'm curious, I've talked to a lot of people who think of personalization and email campaigns as just sending a weekly, daily coupon email for their random products. That's obviously not what you're talking about. How would you tell people who are in marketing that they should be doing more with the data? How would you make that compelling?
I think that an important thing to think about is the opportunity cost of unsubscribes. I think there's a tendency to think, oh, what's the harm in sending people a coupon or a discount code or an email? Either they convert or they don't. They buy or they don't. There's no downside, right? There is a downside, and the downside is unsubscribe. If you annoy people, they leave. Then you can't ever contact them again. So sometimes when we run experiments, what we see is that we'll send an upsell or we'll send a campaign, and we'll see a short-term boost in some kind of metric that we're interested in. And we think, oh, that's fantastic. Let's send it to more people. And then you sort of look at the longer time scale, the longer time frame, and you go, but okay, we get this short-term bump from the people that were interested in the coupon. But now this metric is starting to go down because all these people that we may have been able to market to subsequently, we now can't, and our audience size is decreasing. And we do it in a fairly sophisticated way now, where we have these propensity to models. So for example, we'll have a machine learning model which calculates a customer's propensity to trial or propensity to print something. And then that gives you a distribution of scores for your user base. Now, the users that have a really low score, leave those people alone. They're not interested in that thing, just leave them alone. The people that are really interested in it or have a really high propensity, you can leave those people alone too, because, they're going to do it anyway. So why risk unsubscribing them for an action that they're likely to perform organically, right? There's a sweet spot in the middle of people that just sort of need a little bit of help or direction or prompt
Is that how things are evolving at Canva now towards like a broader definition of multi-channel is the idea? Is like, it's not even just ads and email, it's other forms of interaction?
We show messages in the product as well. So that creating like a uniform or like a consistent experience for the person from out of the product all the way into the product. It starts with the marketing outside of the product, and then that needs to relate to what they hit when they land on your page and they land on the product. That needs to follow on through the messaging that you send inside the product, like your dialogues, your experiences, what options you highlight, what features you put at the top of your page, because you've always got to make a choice, right? About what things you promote for that customer. Then that's got to flow through into your CRM program. And that's a very complicated thing to do, especially because you've got all these specialized teams, which have a tendency sometimes to become siloed. And then, they're all working on their thing because that's what they're experts in. So sometimes data can be that bridge that creates that cross team collaboration that sort of like gets these things all moving in the same direction. But these are really hard things to do. And, it's something that we're still working on as we evolve, is having consistent, bespoke experiences for our customers as they move through all facets of the ways that we touch them inside the product and out.
Yeah. No, I think my biggest takeaways from what you said is there's goals you might not think to track when you do marketing without involving data in a data platform. Things like cross-cutting objectives around unsubscribes. And you might misinterpret the success of your campaigns because you don't apply, let's call it, a certain data science rigor. And so the specific thing that you said, I think is most surprising yet obvious, is when you run a propensity score, the people at the very top shouldn't even receive a communication, which is counterintuitive, right? But they're already so close to the edge of the funnel, like there's no need to nudge them. That's just unnecessary communication. And I think that's probably something people don't factor in to their campaigns, and then naively might think that their campaigns are super successful because they're just causing something to occur that was about to occur 12 seconds later anyway.
I think that probably gets to the heart of one of the single biggest challenges in all of marketing, which is that notion of incremental benefit, right? Or the benefit over and above all the other stuff that you're doing, all the other marketing that you're writing, all the other messages you're sending. Just because someone converted, it doesn't necessarily mean that marketing did that thing. My current roles in measurement and strategy is to think about how we untangle that. How do we untangle the fact that someone saw an ad or got an email and converted from maybe they were just going to do that anyway? The analogy that we use is sometimes you see a Domino's billboard on the way to driving to Domino's, right? Some approaches would count one for the billboard there.
It is a perennial thing that people have to chase, the attribution problem per se. First, deploying a platform like this, a solution like this, an architecture like this, first and foremost allows you to deliver campaigns you were trying to deliver that you couldn't. And let's call that the crawling. And then as you walk, you can do more advanced campaigns. And then the run is probably the ability to extract that incremental gain versus not. I'm not surprised that that's the stage that you're at now, that hopefully everyone can aspire to, getting that level of science into play.
Yeah, and it's a long journey. So it's not something that you turn around overnight. And we're fortunate enough to have a lot of brilliant people working on it too.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks for the lessons. I really appreciate it.
No problem, Boris. I hope that's helpful to everyone.
So every marketing team in the world is trying to do more with their first party data. You just heard from Matt, who's done this tremendously well at Canva. So what's stopping those companies from delivering the same thing? What's stopping you? I think using Snowflake is the first step. We're generating, storing, analyzing exponentially more data every year. You need to augment Snowflake with Census to turn it into a complete marketing operations hub. This is the piece that allows you to take all the knowledge, all the data that the Snowflake team is creating and put it into action. And it's not just for personalization. There's thousands of ways your data can help. I've seen companies use it to help sales target the right customers and prospects. I've seen them use it to save misspent money on ads or just improve the customer experience across the board. Does your support queue prioritize your best users? Am I being recommended subscriptions or products tailored to my activity with your software or with your brand? There's so much potential information that is sitting unused. And only you, with the information in Snowflake, can make these dreams happen. If you are in data, I guarantee there's more that you can do to help your marketing team. And if you're in marketing and not working with your Snowflake and your data team, you're doing it wrong. So let's dive into how this works. So the Composable CDP is a stack. It's a stack that transforms your data platform into a marketing engine. And it starts with gathering all the data and having it live inside Snowflake. And the beauty of the computational and storage model of Snowflake is that there's virtually no cost to storing everything in your company, every signal that is generated into Snowflake. The data team can create really valuable models about what your users are doing, how your inventory is progressing, all the things that matter to running the business. And this is where the best data in the company is being generated. And then when you combine that with an activation platform like Census, you can take all those models and read them directly off Snowflake and have them be replicated in Braze, in Salesforce, in any tool that is used by your marketing team. And there's a lot of benefits to this architecture. It is not just that it brings the best data to bear to every problem. It actually gives you a variety of governance and privacy benefits. When you built around your Snowflake instance, you have a single source of truth because now your analytics and BI function and your marketing function share the same underlying representation of a customer. And that is super, super valuable, both to deliver more precise campaigns, but also gives you a guarantee when there's a central broker that you're not proliferating different versions of reality. When you can guarantee from your central data platform that you can help service any data request in a way that is native and observable, you prevent the kind of decay that occurs that makes it really, really hard for you to govern who's using what data. And in today's environment, whether that's European legislation, California legislation, or really global changes around privacy, this is more important than ever. And that is what Snowflake and the Composable CDP pattern on top of it allows you to do. Census takes that to an extra level. This approach allows you to give your marketing team, to give everyone in that organization an experience where they can collaborate and build what in data we would call data models, but in reality is an audience of users. And all of this links directly back into your database, right? We write that back into your warehouse. That means you can track how these things change, even if someone outside of the data team is designing the segment. And that is what I think is the true meaning of democratizing access to data. Your stakeholders can depend on core data models and use them in their day-to-day work without having to ask in a ticket, can you please help me generate this data for this campaign in my advertising tool? They can do it themselves. What they lack historically is access to your best data. And this CDP powered by Snowflake is the way to do that. And it all works thanks to the advances we've made in the last few years, both Snowflake and Census. Historically, data platforms like Snowflake were designed for what I would call batch analysis, right? You would bring all the information in, you would have long-running processes to analyze the data. And that's obviously not how modern marketing operations are supposed to be run. Your customers expect a reaction as fast as possible. A lot of the work that Snowflake has done this year is super exciting. So with the advent of dynamic tables, we've now built this combined capability to bring you all of the governance and correctness and scale that you get from this Snowflake approach. But you get all of the benefits of traditional marketing automation in that you get real-time activation. So now you can take data that comes straight from your most low latency events, like someone signs up, someone clicks a button, someone just purchased something, and you can join that in Snowflake with the information about that user that matters and take action on it all within a second. And that has never been possible until now. And so it's really exciting for me because this means more and more we can create that central broker that allows you to use more of the data that's in your company without worrying about having split systems for split kind of use cases. And we can all benefit as consumers and as marketers. I'm excited that we get to live in a world where we can have data with scale, speed, and quality, and we can put it to work to build much better consumer experiences. Let's get started now.